Already know what time it is, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the dungeon on the eve of the game day. We in here, week 13. Week 12 wraps up in the books. Let's take a quick little recap. We went 11-5. There was 16 games played in week 12. 11-5, bringing my overall record for the year 103-77. Not as bad. Not that bad for me. My goal is to get to 100 wins before 80 losses. I believe I mentioned that. So I have a good feeling about it. Now, hopefully I can get to 110 before I reach 80 losses. We'll see how this week goes. Week 13 buys. We have the Bills, Ravens, Bears, Raiders, Vikings, and Giants. So 6 teams that are on buys. That's 1, 2, 3 matchups. So it's going to be 13 matchups of football for week 13. Week 13, 13 matchups. Love how that adds up. Let's get to them. All right, not wasting no time, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get right into these games. Starting off with the Cowboys hosting the Seahawks in Arlington, Texas. It's gonna be thunderous crowd. Excited to see how they come out playing. A team that's over 500 here, than the Seahawks, coming off against a tough loss against the Niners, where it seemed that Geno Smith was still nursing an injury. Cowboys number one offense, number one scoring offense, I should say. Very hot here. Beneath the handle business at home. Can't come out sloppy here. I think the Cowboys should handle business. The Seahawks have a young core, and they can generate a pass rush on Dak Prescott. However, I think the scheme here allows for Dak to get the ball out quickly and then get to a fast start. I think the special teams here comes to a big play. Seahawks always a good, well-coached special teams play, so no mistakes for the Cowboys. Should be good. Seahawks don't turn the ball over much, but I can see the Cowboys intercepting maybe 1 or 2 passes off Geno Smith, as he likes to target those receivers of his, Lockett, Metcalf, Smith, and Jigba downfield. So we'll get to see. Maybe Deron Blank gets another interception. But for the score prediction for this game, I have the Cowboys, Big Blue, 34-13 at home. Go Boys. All right, that was Thursday night. Let's get into our Sunday matchup slate of games, starting with the Colts at Titans. Now, the Colts played the Titans earlier in the year, and they beat them at home by a touchdown. But in the previous 6 games, they have only won 1 out of 6. So the Titans have beat them in 5 of their last 6 matchups. Titans obviously handed the reins to Will Levis, a rookie starting quarterback. And Derrick Henry had 2 touchdowns last week in their win against the Panthers. So first time he's gotten in the end zone in over 2 months. I believe that the Colts will have a challenge in stopping Henry. Noting that the Colts are 26th against the run. They're 26th ranked rush defense. But I think they are going to fight. They're going to win here because they have to take care of the not the lesser teams with the worst record. Because the AFC South is turning into like a 3-team race between the Jaguars, Texans, and Colts. Colts are still alive. They're fighting and they're motivated. So I think the Colts here and Titans come into a stalemate. I think the Colts, the road team, gets the win here, 20-19 in Tennessee. All right, moving on to the Falcons at the Jets. The Jets hosting another home game. Not sure who their starting quarterback's going to be. Either way it goes, they need to worry about the Falcons' rush attack. Falcons are bolstering one of the best top 10 offensive lines in the whole league. The Jets' defense ranked 31st against the run. Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier had monster games last week, and I expect the Falcons to commit to this, helping out their quarterback who's not really found his groove, and they're first in their division. They need to keep winning games to make sure they secure that spot, knowing that the Saints and the Buccaneers are right behind them, essentially. So right here, I think the Falcons come into New York and get the win. I think the Jets have been better on the road anyway, so I expect the Falcons to run the ball here, run the ball. Try not to put their young quarterback in risk because the Jets defense can ball hawk the ball. So something to look out for there. But all in all, I got the Falcons coming into New York and winning 24-16. All right, Lions at the Saints. So these 2 teams, Lions also coming off of a loss, 8-3 record, playing the Saints, who also came off of a disappointing loss, where they're also, like I said, right there behind the Falcons in that NFC South race. They lost the lead last week in a loss. The Saints are 23rd against the run, where the Lions are top top 3 team running the ball, top 5, much like the Falcons. They're in that top 5 along with the Lions in the league. Very good offensive line, two-headed monster at running back, and a very lethal play action game for Jared Goff. How the run will open up that for them. He had some turnovers last week and was not as efficient, but maybe that's because they weren't able to establish the run game as well. So this time around against the Saints, I think they'll be able to do that. I think the Saints fight here. They need to commit less turnovers. They were unfortunate with some injuries. Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, some of the receivers, and Michael Thomas was still inactive. So hopefully they can get some guys back healthy. I think Chris Olave's had in concussion protocol. Hopefully they'll have their players there to play, and it's going to be a tall task for them at home. Lions coming in town, and they're going to try to, and they want to win. They want to extend their lead in that NFC North. So I do got the Lions winning here by a field goal, 30-27 over the Saints. All right, now we have the Broncos at the Texans. The Broncos have beat the Texans in 4 of their last 5 matchups. In 4 of their last 5 matchups, the Broncos have beat the Texans. These two teams also both fighting for position in their divisions. Later in the season, the playoff hunt gets rapid, crazy, wild. The Texans lost to the Jaguars, which the Jaguars took the lead in the AFC South, so they need to stay alive. And the Broncos have not lost a game since mid-October. So this is going to be something to look for right here. Russell Wilson against a veteran quarterback versus a rookie quarterback, C.J. Stroud. So, we have D'Amico Ryan's defense playing very well. Very good run defense, don't allow much. But it's where the passing game where Russell Wilson has been the most efficient and done the most damage. Cortland Sutton getting into his own, and the running game coming along a little bit for the Broncos as well. So it'll be an interesting matchup. I don't see the Texans breaking their 4 losing skid to the Broncos this Sunday. I don't see it. I think the Broncos somehow pull out some magic and come out winning in the fourth quarter. C.J. Stroud almost had a fourth quarter comeback win last week. They were short on the field goal, and they're missing one of the field goal kickers. So the offense has to generate all the points. This is not easy to put on your rookie quarterback. So I think the Broncos continue to extend their win streak, although it could very well end against the Texans, who are very underrated and are playing at a very high level. But when a veteran quarterback playing at a high level too, there's going to be some good clashes. So let's see. I'm going to say the Broncos here, 23-17 in Houston over the Texans. Now the Chargers at the Patriots. The Patriots are one of the bottom teams. As of the season end today, they'll be picking the 3rd overall, I believe. So they're very iffy at quarterback. They've been swapping around. They bench Mac Jones for Zappy, vice versa. Chargers here just need to get a win, especially their head coach. I really thought he was going to get fired after they lost against the Ravens last week. He's still there. Khalil Mack is having a monstrous season, looking like his 2018 Defensive Player of the Year form. And this should be a game the Chargers handle. Obviously, the Patriots defense is always competitive, so they need to scheme up a good game plan here. I think they do that for Justin Herbert, and he gets his receivers going, hopefully. I can see this going the Chargers' way, 31-16 in Foxborough. Might be some snowy conditions, might be very windy up there in the Northeast, so that could play a factor. This could be a lot more low scoring if the weather is very rampant, very bad. So I can see that changing up the gameplay a little bit, but still got the Chargers over the Patriots. I'm going to predict 31-16. Okay, now the Cardinals at the Steelers. Since Super Bowl 43, the Cardinals have not beaten the Steelers. They played 4 times, counting the Super Bowl 43. So they've lost their last 4 to Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh extends this to 5. They're coming off of a win against the Bengals team without Joe Burrow. That was also their first game without their offensive coordinator that they let go, Matt Canada, and they went over 400 yards of total offense. Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris got going. Seems like a campaign in Pittsburgh where they want Jaylen Warren to start over Najee Harris. The Steelers invested a first-round pick in Najee Harris, so maybe he has something he feels different about that. Cardinals obviously not defending the run that as well. They're in the middle of the bunch, and they haven't protected Kyler Murray the best since he got back. He got the ball out quick against the Rams, and when there was no looks there, he had to just take a sack. He couldn't escape. So and then against a Steelers defense where T.J. Watt, Cameron Hayward, Alex Highsmith, great defense, and a secondary that's always playing up in the receivers' grill. So This is not going to be an easy game for the Cardinals. On the road here, I think the Steel City, prevails at home over the Cardinals 23-13, extending the winning streak over the Cardinals for 5 games. Yep, there we go. So now continuing on, Dolphins at Commanders. The Dolphins at the Commanders. Commanders got destroyed by Dallas last week. They are at home, playing against a Dolphins team that is second in the league in scoring, kind of like flipping flipping the first and second spot between Dallas. But they have the most yards from scrimmage and are number one in yards and number one in passing yards, I believe, passing yards. And Tyreek Hill is looking to torch this secondary. So I expect the Commanders to come out and triple team Tyreek Hill. I expect Jalen Waddle to go for over 200 yards in this game because he'll be singled. That's what I expect because Tyreek Hill has not slowed down once this whole year. So Tua Tagovailoa, if the Commanders can't get pressure on him, he's going to have a field day. But I expect Tua sometimes to make some weird throws, and then he puts the ball for risk. So the Commanders can have some chances at a turnover here. That can be one of their silver linings. But if they don't take advantage of this, it's not going to be easy for them at home. So I think the Dolphins come into Washington and get the win here, 32-24. Not as smooth as the Dolphins would want it, but a win is a win. All right, Panthers at Bucks. The Panthers just fired their head coach Frank Reich last week. The Buccaneers also have lost a lot of games. I think I've lost 6 of their last 7 games. They started 3-1, and they're struggling a lot. I think the Bucks are definitely need this game to keep up with the Falcons and the Saints. But don't be surprised if the Panthers come out here and play a little bit more inspired. Maybe their offensive scheme, more motion, more setting up Bryce Young for success. I mean, it's not like they don't have players that can run the ball. They just didn't have no organization, especially against the Titans. It looked pretty bad, which is why they fired their coach. So I'm expecting this to be a close game. I think Mike Evans goes off here, just like he did last week in a loss. I want him to have good stats, but I also want the Buccaneers to keep up a little bit. Antoine Winfield Jr. had a chance at interception last week. He didn't. He's got 3 interceptions and 3 forced fumbles on the year, so he's your turnover man. So Bryce Young needs to watch out, locate 31 and 54 for sure. In Levante David, veteran, still going hard, and is I believe his 13th NFL season. So something to look for there. But in the end, I think the Bucks at home prevail here over the Panthers, 28-27. All right, and the Niners at the Eagles. So this is the NFC Championship rematch. Obviously, everyone's healthy here. Everyone's healthy. This matchup here, big time matchup. The Eagles are pretty much a couple of wins away from locking up that first seed. The Niners are, just wanting to roll into the playoffs on fire, trying to bully people, make everyone see that they don't want to, like, no one wants to play them. But the Eagles, I feel like, are sitting back and say, we have y'all's number. So this is a game where I think the Niners are probably going to score first. They'll come out here and get rolling. Might go cold. This Eagles defense is gashable, but they can get after the quarterback. And I think when Brock Purdy's pressured, he kind of isn't as efficient as when he's not pressured. And I think that's a fair statement to say for most quarterbacks. But in this situation, I think Hassan Reddick is going to make noise. I expect the interior lineman, Jalen Carter, also potentially to make some noise here. So this is going to be interesting to see. It's definitely going to be a matchup of the line of scrimmages. The offensive line for the Niners against the defensive line of the Eagles. The offensive line of the Eagles against the defensive line of the Niners. Obviously, the Niners defensive line coming into its own. They added, obviously, in the offseason, former Eagle Javon Hargrave, Chase Young in a trade. So they're pretty loaded there and have depth at that position. Not to mention their solid linebacking core, Greenlaw, Warner. But this game right here, I actually got the Eagles winning at home. I don't necessarily want them to win. I want the Cowboys, to reach up in that division before they play next week. But that's just what I see coming. They've just had the ball bounce their way this year, at least so far in the regular season. So with that being said, I think this game goes into overtime. And I think in overtime, the home team prevails. 27-24. Probably should have gone 30-24 here, but maybe both defenses lock each other up here. But I'm gonna go overtime, 27-24. The Eagles over the 49ers here. All right, now the Browns at the Rams. The Rams have beat the Browns in 6 of their last 7 matchups. The Browns coming into this game with their starting quarterback. Deshaun Watson is still on the shelf, still injured here. So this is going to be a tricky one, I think. I think the Rams are looking that looking at the Seahawks, how they're falling. The Rams looking like they can climb. And not to mention, if the Eagles beat the Niners, the Rams are like 2 games behind the 49ers, and still have to play the 49ers before the year ends. I think Matthew Stafford's kind of catching fire. Kyron Williams, 200 yards from scrimmage last week, the rookie. He's going to be a focal point in this offense. Opened up Tyler Higbee, and it opened up the other running back too. So this is going to be a point of emphasis that the Browns need to focus on. Browns bolstering one of the best defense in the league, but not susceptible to getting schemed out, to bend, don't break. But in this situation, I think the Rams are going to be more hungrier. The Browns are coming on the road, and this loss for the Browns here wouldn't hurt them too much, but they can't afford to lose more games if they lose to the Rams. But I think the Rams prevail here at home. I think they're looking at the NFC West, like they can climb up there to the first or second or first spot, because they want that playoff spot, the 7th seed. So I think the Rams here win at home, 29-14. This is going to be my upset alert of the week as well, because the Browns bolstering that defense against the Rams team that did beat a bad team in the Cardinals last week, but it's a division opponent, and the Rams now are 5-6. They need 1 game away from being 500. I think this would be the game to do it. And I think they, obviously, as a home team, not much of an upset, but I think it's an upset because I think most people expect the Browns defense to win every game for them. So we'll see how that goes. So Rams 29, Browns 14. All right, Chiefs at the Packers. Chiefs at Packers. Jordan Love's first career start was against the Kansas City Chiefs in the 2021 season. Aaron Rodgers was tested positive for COVID. Jordan Love had his first start and looked pretty decent. I remember watching this game. I don't remember the score, but they did lose by a very close margin. I think this time around, again, the same thing here. Jordan Love gets a good start. Patrick Mahomes. I just don't see Travis Kelce letting him down again like he did 2 weeks ago. And then last week, Kelce looked like himself. He had over 100 yards receiving. Patrick Mahomes was finding him, putting the ball on the money. So this game right here, a good matchup between 2 teams that can run the ball. And I think the Chiefs here prevail on the road, 23-21. And the Packers suffer a devastating loss because if they win this game, they'll be at 500. Climbing in on the top of the NFC North, potentially passing the Vikings, who are on bye week. But it's going to be tough against the Chiefs, even if they're in Lambeau. You just can't count on Patrick Mahomes. And that Chiefs defense is actually better than I would say the best defense Mahomes has had since he's been a member of the Chiefs. Very good front and ball and I would say ball hungry secondary. Trent McDuffie, 5 forced fumbles on the year. So we'll see how that works out. But I think the Chiefs beat him here 23-21. And then finally, Monday Night Football, Bengals at the Jaguars. Jaguars are atop that spot of the AFC South. I think they want to keep extending that here, a game that they should win. Obviously, the Browns are without their starting quarterback. Still a good defense, Hubbard and Sam Hubbard, and they have Trey Hendrickson that can get after the quarterback. Also, the solid linebacking core. But I think the Jaguars here are going to play this one more like run the ball 35-plus times. Travis Etienne, backup running back. They have a lot of success when they isolate Calvin Ridley, get him going. Vertical shots to Calvin Ridley down the field. It opens up for their other receivers, Evan Engram and Christian Kirk. But Calvin Ridley seems to be the man. He's had 3 touchdowns in the last 2 games. I think he gets 1 touchdown in this game because the Bengals they have to they have to stop the run first because I think the Jaguars are going to focus on running the ball against this Bengals team. So I got the Jaguars winning here at home on Monday Night Football 24-10. And that wraps up Week 13. Those were 13 matchups, all predicted right there for you. My upset alert is the Rams over the Browns. I got the Eagles over the Niners, 27-24 in overtime. And there's a lot of implications here. A lot of teams are fighting to make the playoffs. That playoff picture is just slowly forming. And we still got some more weeks late in the season with this cold weather coming. You can expect some cold weather, definitely in Buffalo or definitely in New England, definitely in Pittsburgh, up in the Northeast. Even in Dallas is going to rain. So, good riddance, guys. So, enjoy the football, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you guys next week for the breakdown. And can't wait to get in and watch it, So, it's going to be fun, guys. It's going to be fun, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy. Tune in on Thursday night tomorrow. Maybe you'll see yours truly.